What's up, Amazon sellers? Speeding up your sourcing is key to finding more deals and making more profits. And having a tool that's going to speed up those calculations is key to making that reality come true. Today, I'm going to go through one tool that we use in our business, FBA Multi-tool, and I'm going to share with you the basics of it and how to use it, some top tips and tricks that are going to speed up your sourcing process. So stay tuned. Okay, so if you don't know who I am, my name is Thomas Parkinson, and quite simply, I have been selling on Amazon now, doing online arbitrage for 4 years. And right now I'm on a mission to do £1 million by the end of 2021. I'll drop a link to it just up there and you can see my entire journey. What are we going to go through in this video? Number one, I'm going to go through what is FBA Multi-tool. Number two, I'm going to go through how to install FBA Multi-tool. Number three, I'm going to talk about how to set up FBA Multi-tool. Number four, I'm going to talk you through all the different parts of FBA Multi-tool. Number five, we will do some live sourcing with FBA Multi-tool on my computer. And then finally, number six, I'm going to share some top tips and tricks that we use in our business to speed up that process. So let's get into it now. First things first, coffee. The foundations of any good business and entrepreneur are based upon the consumption of coffee. Okay, so first things first, what is FBA Multi-tool? Well, quite simply, within our business, in our Amazon business, we are constantly looking for opportunities to buy low and sell high. Now, Amazon does this amazing thing. It provides what's known as the Amazon Revenue Calculator. That's an online calculator that will do calculations for you and support you in understanding profit figures within your business. Now, the one thing is that revenue calculator isn't exactly perfect, and there are some other fees that you need to consider, such as like VAT in the UK. And also as well, it tells you margin, not ROI, and also in our businesses, we have additional costs that we can't put into the revenue calculator. Now, a tool like FBA Multi-tool basically is like the Amazon Revenue Calculator, but version 2.0. It's a lot more in-depth, it gives it a lot more functionality, and what does it do? It just helps us speed up our sourcing process, and that is key to finding more profitable deals. Now, using a tool like the FBA Multi-tool, quite simply, is going to allow us to do some really fundamental checks that we need to do for every single product we want to sell. Things like hazmat eligibility, calculating profits, ROI, and even in addition to that, things like sales per month are going to be really key to understanding, do we really have a deal, or is it not actually something that we want to be buying? In addition to that, it's got advanced features which we can use, for example, like when we've got teams of VAs, managing VAs, check-in, clocking times, just for ensuring that our business is running. It's a real suite of tools which is going to help you in analyzing those deals that you're finding to make sure they are actually deals, and it does a lot more as well. Now, a question I'll ask you guys is, FBA Multi-tool is an Amazon calculator that's going to help speed up your process. Now, there are many of these calculators out there available in the market right now. And the question I want to ask you is, are you using FBA Multi-tool, or perhaps maybe you're using another tool? Drop it in the comments down below. I'm interested to see what you're all using. And hey, maybe there's a reason why you use that over FBA Multi-tool. I'm really interested to know. Drop it in the comments below. Okay, so what I want to do now is show you how to actually install FBA Multi-tool onto your computer. So what we're going to do is jump onto a screen share right now, and I'm going to walk you through that installation process. Okay, so first things first, what you want to do is go to the Chrome extension store. Now, we've got that loaded up, and obviously you're going to get a copy of that. You're going to get that once you've paid for the FBA Multi-tool through their website. We'll drop a link to this tool down below. So now that we are on the Chrome extension web store, what you want to do is quite simply click over here and click Add to Chrome. So we're just going to add that in now. What it's going to ask you to do is to give it some permissions, and quite simply that is going to need those permissions to read the data on the website to do what it does best, i.e. speed up the process. So let's click Add Extension, and we're happy with that. So what it's going to do is install, and you can see down the bottom now it's installing it down here, and then up the top it's now been installed. Great. Okay, so that is now installed, so we're going to close that down. Now what we're going to do is just change over, and we're going to go to Amazon. So we just want to make sure that we're set up. So I'm going to go to my favorite product, which is a DeLonghi toaster. I use this for pretty much everything. What's going to happen is the moment you load into Amazon, you're going to start seeing FBA Multi-tool pops up on the right-hand side in any Amazon listing. Now, quite simply, it says buy me or put a license key in here. Now, we have purchased this product already, so we have a license key. So what I'm going to do now is put my license key in there. Unfortunately, I'm not going to share my license key with you. So obviously, you'll have your own one. Perfect. Now, we just obviously entered the license key, and what it's going to do is reload that FBA Multi-tool, and now we are logged in. Now, it gives you the option, or it asks you to enter in MWS tokens and seller ID for a better service. You don't actually have to do this. You can. For me, I generally don't, but it's up to you if you want to. They say it's going to improve the service. So there you go. Now, quite simply, this is once it's installed, you can see it load up here. So you've got on the right-hand side, you've got this big bar, and then you've got the island in the middle. Now that is pretty much just how you install FBA Multi-tool, and it's really, really super simple. Okay, so that leads me quite nicely onto how should you be setting up your FBA Multi-tool to achieve optimal results. Let's go through that now. Okay, so back on the screen now, when we are into any product, and obviously you've got to be on a product on an Amazon web page, quite simply, what you're going to want to do is come over here to settings. So just click on the settings tab. What that's going to do is just open up FBA Multi-tool settings. Now in here, you want to put in any information that you feel that you need to add in to the calculator that's going to help you out with doing your deal analysis. So you can do things like fee adjustments, profit adjustments. The really common ones are like a fixed prep fee and a fixed transit cost. So for me and my business, we'll put in like 50p, and then we'll put in like 30, I think it's 24p, if I'm right. 24p is what we use for a fixed transit cost. Now you can do like minimum ROI or settings on there if you want that, but quite simply, we will do that. Now for me, I'll always make sure we have stock checker turned on because I want to see the stocks. I'll also just make sure that we have the product variation turned on. By default, they are. Now the other thing which you might want to be aware of is in Europe, we have also as well, for me as a seller, I'm VAT registered. If you're not sure, you're not going to be VAT registered. Basically, it's a thing like you either know you're VAT registered or you're not. And if you're not sure, you're not going to be. So for me, I turn this on, but if you're not sure, leave it turned off. I leave that at 20%, that's great. And then I'm pretty happy. I will literally just click save. And what it's going to do is save all that information. So it's going to add those fees into my calculations every time I do a calculation. So the next thing that you want to look at is quite simply FBA Multi-tool, and all these calculator tools are really good at once you've found a deal, saving that deal information to something like a Google spreadsheet. Now the way you do that is quite simply coming back onto the settings tab and going over to export. Now, quite simply, here you have the option to just quite simply drop in a Google Sheet URL. So just loading up a Google Sheet now, and obviously give your Google Sheet a name. So I might give my Google Sheet, like for example, Tom's Deals. Oh, perfect. And I'm just going to literally take this URL at the top, copy that, and I'm going to drop it into up here into the Google Sheet URL. Nice and simple. Now, Google Sheet tab name, case sensitive, so Sheet 1. Now you can call it something else. Sheet 1, that's what we're after. And just double check that, Sheet 1, no problem. And then also as well, it's going to ask you what bits of information do you want to copy over to that sheet. Now, every time you find a deal, what you can do is click a button and it's going to copy all the information about that deal you've selected here to that Google Sheet. Now, quite simply, I would pretty much turn on everything. Now, when it says order 1, order 2, what does that mean? It means quite simply, it's going into the first column, second column, third column, fourth column. What it will do is add a new row in every time you hit it, but it's just going to add them into different columns. So if you want to do it in a different order, really, really simple, you can change the order here. But I would go through and set all of them to the order that you want. And then quite simply, when you're done, just click save. That is it, and it's going to copy them all. It's going to set that up in your sheet, and then when you're ready, and we'll talk about it in a minute, you can click a button and it's going to copy all that deal information over to the Google Sheet. Okay, so that leads me quite nicely on to talking about the various sections of FBA Multi-tool. So now let's jump back onto the computer and I'll talk you through all the different parts of this Chrome extension just to support you in understanding the way it works. Okay, so first things first, when we go into a product, you can see here that this is how it's loaded up. Now, I'm just going to zoom in over on this side so you can kind of get it a bit easier. Now, quite simply, what you can see straight away, it says FBA Multi-tool log in. Now, what does that actually mean? Is it wants us to log into our Amazon Seller Central account. Why? Because it requires the ability to access some information from within the Seller Central account to display it here. And the two bits of information that it needs: eligibility to sell, i.e. add product on Seller Central, and shipments, which is about understanding if it's hazmat. So what I'm going to do now is quickly log into my Amazon Seller Central account, and that's now then that will change and update and show me some more information. So let me do that now. Okay, so I've just logged in. What I'm going to do is refresh the page now. So just refresh now, and what you can see now is that now top part of the FBA Multi-tool, this side section, has now changed. Now, quite simply, what is it showing us? What is it telling us? Well, the first two things it's showing us are eligibility to sell, i.e. am I able to sell this product on the Amazon marketplace at the moment? So that's really important, because if you can't, then obviously it's not going to be a very good deal. So quite simply, eligibility to sell, yes. And then hazmat. Now, I do all my selling through the FBA program, and in order to do that, I need to make sure that my products are not hazardous. There is something called the hazmat program that you can sell through, but I'm not going to go into that now. Generally speaking, you always need to make sure that the products aren't hazardous, and FBA Multi-tool is going to check that for you. Now, also it tells us other things like, is it a dangerous goods? Is Amazon selling the product? What category it's in, home and kitchen, what's the sales rank, what's the weight of the products, the ASIN and the EAM. And also it's got VA check-in. So if, say for example, if there's a VA working and they're using this as well, because you have multiple licenses, they can check in and they can check in and check out, which is going to record their hours. And also what it will do, it will just take screenshots every now and then. So if you want to check them, you can see what work they're doing. Okay, so what I've done now is load into another product. And the reason is the product I was initially on had no sellers on it. So I want to show you some other functionality which is going to have sellers on it. So let's go through this now. Quite simply, we've got exactly the same details up here, but it does say Amazon is selling and it's highlighted that as red. Now, I have sold many deals where Amazon has been on the listing, but generally speaking, most people try and avoid it, but it's up to you. But just telling you information. Now, the next section we've got here is about sales data and top 1%. Now, what does that mean? Well, quite simply, if you click on sales data, what it's going to do is load up this kind of window in the middle. Now, this window in the middle is going to tell you about who's on the listing and also as well their stock quantities on hand and also as well prices. So quite simply, we've got here like the ASIN, the average buy box price over the last 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days, average rank over that time, total number of sellers, so 3 FBA and 2 FBM, and all who the sellers are, the names of them, and the quantity of stock. And obviously you've got price. Now, why is that useful? Quite simply, well, what if we understand who our competition are and also as well how much stock they've got, we can understand if maybe it's a listing that we want to sell on and we want to join that, or maybe it's too competitive and we do not want to get involved. So you can see, for example, right here, Amazon has got 99 units in stock and they are the cheapest price. So you know what, they're going to be quite competitive on this listing. So it might be a product that I'm going to stay away from, but it might find another deal that might not be. So you can see there, and that's going to help you out. Okay, so what we'll do is just click off that. So the next section you've got here is what's known as the top 1%. Now, quite simply, the top 1% means that in that category, so for us, the category is toys and games. You've got all the different products, and it's the top 1% of selling products in the toys and games category. Now, some people like using this metric. For me, I would probably avoid it. It's too much of a generalization. I'd actually look at the data, i.e. how many sales is this product actually selling. So you can use the 1%. I don't like it, but it does give you that information there if you want to use it. Now, as we go down, the next section we come into is the actual calculator itself. Now, this is whereby you're going to use it to work out the profits and the ROI for your business. So say, for example, right now, if we're saying this product is, let's say, for example, it's selling for $17.97. Oh, let me get that right. $17.97. And the buy price, we're going to put in, let's call it, say, £5. We can buy it for £5, just say, for example. Then what I can do is click calculate profit. Now, what's going to happen is down here is it's going to give me that information. So it's going to work out what is the profit if I were to buy it for £5 today and sell it for $17.97. Your profit is £5 and the ROI is going to be 100%. So I'll be very happy if I had that, and I'm like, fantastic. Now, what it also does is it gives me all the fees. So it hides most of them away because 99% of the time you really don't care. You can open them up and see all the fees. of a breakdown of all the costs involved in that calculation. But most of the time we hide them away because we're happy. Now the other couple of things you can do is you can have here the number of quantities. So I might just buy 1 unit, and that's how I always do my calculations. But I might say, you know what, I'm going to buy 10 units. I'm going to be buying 10 units, and each unit is going to give me £5 profit. So in total, I'm going to get £50 profit. Fantastic. Now I'll just reset that back to 1. Now the other thing which I really also like about FBA Multi-tool, it has the voucher discount. So you can just apply a discount quite simply. Say for example here, we've got a 20% discount code. What I can do is I can click calculate profits, and what it's going to do is it's going to apply a 20% discount to the buy price. So I don't have to recalculate the buy price. I can literally just go, it's £5 and I've got a voucher code of 20%. Click calculate profits and it's just going to show you. So it makes your calculations and your process so much quicker. What I will say is stay to the end of this video, because I'm going to show you some live sourcing with FBA Multi-tool and my top tips and tricks which are going to make it even faster. So stay to the end and you'll see that. So I'll just reset this back to 5 and then recalculate that. Now, so what you can see here, it not only shows your profit, but also your ROIs. You've got your profit margin and your break even. Now, while this deal is great, we've got a £5 profit and 100% ROI. That's by me putting in a price of £5. Now, the interesting thing is tools like FBA Multi-tool are amazing. They do speed up our process, but unfortunately, sourcing for deals on Amazon to buy low and sell high is hard work. It's very time consuming. And I just want to introduce you to FastTrackFBA Leads. This is a service that I created whereby we've got a team of VAs going out there doing all the sourcing techniques I talk about and more, looking for all those deals, whether they be individual items, multi-packs, bundles, that other software sourcing that don't find. And what we do is we source them 7 days a week with our team of VAs, and we put them into the FastTrackFBA Leads website. Now, quite simply, you can come in, you can browse all the deals we've got, and you can pick and choose the deals that you want for your Amazon business. It might be fast sellers, it might be high profit items, or a mix of the two. You get to pick and choose. And quite simply, when you're ready, you can unlock the deal and go to the supplier, buy the products, ship them into Amazon and make a profit. Now, what I'll do is I'll drop a link down below to FastTrackFBA Leads. Have a look at that. It's our lead service, which is going to help you grow your Amazon business and speed up the process as well. Now, as we scroll down, we've got here also as well foreign market data. So let's say, for example, if you are in the UK right now, you may be looking to try and sell things into the EU, or vice versa. You might be looking to buy from the EU and sell back into the UK. I used to do that a lot, but with Brexit recently, it's had quite an impact. Now, quite simply, what is it doing? It's showing you the prices in other markets, and it's showing you if you were to sell at that price in that market, what would your ROI be? It's quite simply just giving you the information you need to know about buying a product in one marketplace and selling it in a different one. That's it. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you're buying it from the UK marketplace and selling it in Germany, but it could be that you're buying it from the supplier in the UK with the view to sell it on the German platform or the German marketplace. It's just going to speed up that process and understanding if it's going to be profitable to do that. So what I want to do now is quite simply just go back up to the top of the page and go to the island. So over here we have the island in the middle of the page, and quite simply, what do we see here? Well, at the very top, you've got a P&L detector, a detector which is going to help support you in understanding if this product should be a product you should be careful of, because even though Amazon might let you sell the product, doesn't mean you should, because the brand itself might not be very happy about that. And things like the P&L detector are going to help you out. Now, quite simply, we've got here also as well the sales estimator. It's going to give you an estimation of the sales, which is really useful for understanding how many units this product sells per month. We've also got here what's known as store URL. Now, let's say, for example, I found this supplier. What I'd do is I would copy that URL from the address bar of the supplier. I'd drop it in here. And if I were to say, for example, www.google.com, that's not going to be my supplier. But if it was, then I'd just come over to the little arrow and click the arrow. And what it's going to do is add that into the Google Sheet we set up earlier. Now, if we just go over to the Google Sheet that I added in earlier, voila, what can you see? You can see this product has now been added into the Google Sheet. All the information about it: buy for £5, sell for £17 97, and it's got my Amazon listing and supplier listing, i.e. Google, which is what I put in. So it speeds up that process of just taking the information, analyzing it, and copying it to the Excel spreadsheet. So on the island, it has this thing called Variation Viewer. Now, what I've just done quickly now is loaded into a different product where we are on a variation. Now, a variation product is whereby you've got one listing, and within that listing, there are multiple products that are selling. So quite simply, you can flick between different listings because they're variations of each. For example, here, this is a Nike football, and it comes in different colors. So the variations are different colors. Now, quite simply, why is this important? Because what happens is the sales data gets combined together. So generally speaking, we're going to use something called sales rank. That's how we work out our estimated sales per month. But what happens is when you're in a variation, they combine that sales rank number for all of the variations. Now, obviously, all of the variations are not selling exactly the same, so we need to identify which one is selling better. So the variation viewer really helps. If I click on that now, and I zoom in, what you can see here is there are many variations on this listing, and it's listing them all down here with all the ASINs. It's also telling us, should we say, the price, the size, or any kind of unique identifier by it. It's also got the, I think, here we go, total number of reviews. If I put that at the top, total number of reviews. It's got the color name, so the variation name, and then the review percentage. Now, it also is telling you how many reviews it's had over the last 30, 60, 90 days. Why is this important? Because generally speaking, what we do is if, say, for example, a product is selling 100 units per month, we'd say, well, that product's selling 100 units per month. But if it's a variation and it says 100 units per month, that means all the variations combined are selling 100 units per month. So what we want to do is have a look at the variation viewer and look for, is the product that I want to buy and resell one of the products that has a high number of reviews? Generally speaking, if it has more reviews than the other ones, it will have a higher percentage of those 100 sales per month. So if it has a really low number of reviews relative to the other ones, then the number of sales out of the 100 total will be much lower. So it might not be such a good deal. So quite simply here, let's say, for example, I was going to buy this electric green and black one that's got 8.87. We'd be like, okay, that's not so bad. But maybe if I was buying the yellow and violet one at 1.76, it's only 1.76. So that's not going to be selling as many as maybe the green and black one. So just got to keep that in mind when I'm thinking about the number of sales that this product is going to do, and hence how many I'm going to buy. And if I just scroll down, you can see right here, this electric and green and black one is selling the most, 27.56. That's the biggest selling, or the biggest number of reviews for the variation. And I'd probably guess that's the top selling item in this variation. Let's jump back now to the previous example. So the next one we've got is ROI buy price, and it's telling you if you were to buy this product today and sell it at the price you put it in, what does that ROI, or what does the buy price need to be to achieve an ROI? i.e. 20%, it needs to be £8.87, 30%, £8.09, 40%, for £7.43. Why is that important? Because it just allows you to, at a quick glance, see what maybe the rough buy price needs to be for this product to be profitable. Now, it also gives you a score, and it talks you through what that is. For me personally, I really don't use scores at all. I will do an individual deal analysis because there are certain situations where I would buy one product that I wouldn't buy in others, and a score is kind of an amalgamated information. I really recommend getting into the detail. Now, the final one is quite simply here. You've got this button, Ungate, which is going to be really important or really useful for you. If you are gated and you cannot sell a product, that's good. And you can see that button, you can click that button, and what it's going to do is try and automatically ungate you. It's just going to apply to say, hey, can I buy and sell this product? And sometimes Amazon says, okay. So quite simply, it's just going to speed up that process of getting you ungated. Now, if Amazon still wants the requirements, this isn't going to be able to bypass them. It just tests to see if Amazon will allow you to do automatic ungating. This tool, or whether you do it manually, are exactly the same. It just makes that process a little bit faster. Okay, so how do we use this product in day-to-day? How would you actually source it? Well, quite simply, let's go, for example, now of a product that I found earlier that I can buy for £20. So quite simply, this is the product that I can buy. It's a Playmobil Fairies Toadstool house, and obviously I've done the usual checks. I've made sure it's exactly the same product, but what I'm going to do now is I've just loaded into it. So how would I do my deal analysis? And I'll go through that now with the tool. So I'll zoom in to make it easier for you. So first things first, I'm just going to come across over here, and before I've even entered any information in, I'm going to have a really quick check: eligibility to sell and hazmat. Am I able to sell it, and is it hazmat free or is not hazardous? If they are both green, I'm happy, and then I'm going to move on. Now, the first things first is I'm probably going to jump down quickly, and I'm going to drop in my buy price. So £20, remember, that's what I can buy it for. Now, the sale price here is $44.95, so I'm going to drop that in, $44.95, and I'm just going to click calculate profits. Now, quite simply, it's going to come down and show me what my profits are. £10.68 and £53.40, and I really like that. And just remember, we've already put in our transit costs and our prep fees, so really profitable here. So I now know I can sell it, and I also know that I've got a good profit and a good ROI. Now, my next question I'm always asking is, can I actually sell this product? Is it a selling product? So I'm probably going to come back up, and I'm going to look at this estimation here. So it's saying it's selling 37 to 43 per month. So I'm like, great, this product is actually selling. That's great. I can make profit, ROI, and it sells. Now, the final quick check that I'll probably do is, what's my competition like? So I'm going to jump over to the sales data, click on that, and I'm going to see what is my competition. Well, I can see here right now we've got a couple of sellers on the listing, and if we look at their prices, remember, I'm making a really good profit at the moment, £10 profit, and it's going to be £44.95, which is what I'm going to be selling it at. So these people here, from $44.99, $44.95, they're going to be my competition. Now, I can see just by their stock quantity, we've got 3, 1, 8, 1, 1, and 12. Now, if I add that up in my head, rough guess, let's just call it 30, I think, top of my head, 25, 30. So I know it's selling roughly 35 to 40 a month, or 44. So about 30 there. So that's going to last, let's call it 3/4 of the month. So for me, what I'm going to say is that it's going to take me probably about a week to buy it, prep it, get it shipped into Amazon to make it live. By the time that happens, a lot of these sellers would have probably disappeared, i.e. they would have sold their stock, and I can come in. Now for me, it's selling 44 a month. I know that we're probably going to lose some over the next month. I don't know, I might sit here and buy, let's say maybe 5, maybe 10 if I'm feeling a bit adventurous, given the number of the competition, the number of units, and the fact that I generally don't like to hold my stock for more than 1 month. I'm just looking at the difference between total stock available to spend within 1 month, i.e. 3, 1, 8, 1, 1, and 12. And then also as well, how many units this whole listing is selling, which is about 37 to 44. That's where I'm going to be looking at. So I'll probably buy maybe 5 or 10, get that product, ship it in, get it sold in the next month or 2, and I'm going to be quite happy with that. So that is quite simply a live usage of the tool. Now that leads me quite nicely onto top tips and tricks. Well, really quite simply, if we come back into this listing, what am I going to say to you? Well, the moment you load into a listing without even having to do anything, again, that process, eligibility to sell, hazmat, I'm just looking at that, not a problem. But the other thing I might look at is that I already know my buy price is about £20, and I know that I generally operate to a minimum of about 30% ROI. So without even having to drop in the buy price of £20 here and click calculate, what I can do is just come up to here, the ROI and buy price, and I'll zoom in, is to say quite simply, my buy price is £20. So if I come across here and look for where £20 is, well, it's less than this £20.51, but it's more than this $19.08. So that's telling me that the ROI is going to be between 50 and 60%. As I said before, my target ROI is about 30% or more. This, rough guess, is going to be between 50 and 60%. Now I know that this is going to be a product I'll probably want to do the calculations and do a bit more deal analysis, but just by loading it up, I can check hazmat, eligibility to sell. I can have a quick look at what that ROI is. As long as I know that ROI is good, i.e. over 30%, I'm probably going to be hitting my profit target as well. And also as well, I can quickly skim or have a look at that sales estimation. So it's going to give me the 5 metrics that I really want to know about a deal very, very quickly, just by a quick glance at a product. So eligibility to sell, hazmat, profit, which is going to be assumed because the ROI is going to be so high, between 50 and 60%, and sell per month. That's just going to let me know that, hey, this is quite a good deal. Or maybe if I see that the ROI is below 20%, let's say for example, my buy price today was £30, well, I can see here it's going to be more than 26.47 and more than 24. So it means it's going to be below 20% ROI. I like to operate at 30%, so I'm probably going to say I won't touch this deal. I'll move on to the next deal. So having this island in the middle, doing that quick analysis of hazmat, eligible to sell, quick analysis of the ROI, using that ROI buy price just speeds up my deal analysis process and allows me to check more deals in a shorter space of time. Now, the other thing which I didn't really talk about, which I think you should know about, is quite simply in regards to FBA Multi-tool settings, and I'll just jump now back onto the computer. If you come over to General, it's got here History Data Graph. Now that is basically their own version of Keeper charts. It's using the same data as Keeper, but it has their own version or their own information in it, and it can be quite useful to doing further deal analysis. And if you're interested to learn about Keeper, whether it be using something like FBA Multi-tool or actual Keeper itself, I'll drop a link to the Keeper video up there. It's just going to help you understand the fundamentals of that. And that is going into advanced deal analysis, really understanding the history of a product so that if you understand what's happened in the past, you know what's going to happen going forward. Now, quite simply, that is everything to share with you about the basics and some top tips and tricks about FBA Multi-tool. It's a great tool. I do love using it. And what I'll do is I'll just say, if you like that, give me a big thumbs up, and hey, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. But again, I'm going to drop a link around here to that Keeper video, which I think is really key, why FBA Multi-tool is amazing at doing the deal analysis for the basic fundamentals, but it is Keeper, which is going to tell you with a lot more insight into the history of the product. And again, if you understand the history, you understand a good chance of predicting the future. So look at that. But for me, Thomas Parkinson, thank you very much.